Hey, what's going on? And welcome back to day number 23 of 30 Days of Q&A. I'm going to keep this one kind of short because I found out that I have COVID. I just tested positive today. So not feeling too hot right now and want to give myself a proper chance to rest and recover. But gotta keep going with the challenge. It's 30 days of Q&A. I didn't come this far to drop off now. So you might have heard me talk about this idea of the InTune process and really about targeting the right fans. And the analogy is that it doesn't matter how talented you are, it doesn't matter how good the music is that you're playing. If your guitar is out of tune, it's not going to sound good. And same thing with your marketing. It doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're not targeting the right people, if you don't have a good campaign that's in tune with your audience, then it's not going to resonate. It's going to clash like a guitar that's out of tune. So one of the best strategies to get in tune with your audience is to have conversations with them. When you ask the right questions to your fans, it's sort of like you're listening to the notes of the guitar as you're strumming it. And it gives you the opportunity to tune your offers, to tune your marketing, to tune really how you express yourself in your music. And I think that having direct one-on-one conversations with your fans is one of the best ways to do that, especially early on. If you're starting from scratch and you don't really have an audience yet, then it can be really challenging because it's almost like you're floating in the ether and you don't even know who are the people that are going to enjoy your music. You haven't really built a relationship with them. So it just makes it difficult to speak to them because you don't even know who you're talking to. So starting to have these conversations is one of the most important things you can do early on. So in this training, we're going to walk through the InTune process for connecting deeper with new listeners so you can actually create super fans. Having conversations is the best way to engage with your fans. As humans, we've evolved to have two-way conversations. And if you're having a conversation with someone and they just talk nonstop, then it's much less engaging than if it's going back and forth. And especially if they're good at asking questions and listening, then that's a superpower of a skill to develop, is learning how to ask the right questions that open people up so that they can talk about themselves. So ultimately, having conversations is going to be the best way to engage with your fans, to get to know who they are. And then from there, when you're asking the right questions, now you're also getting very valuable information when it comes to improving your targeting. Things like demographics, what are their interests, what other artists are they listening to? And all of these things you can tie back into your targeting so that based on your super fans who are actually supporting you, what are their demographics and how do you target those people? And you only know that if you're getting in tune, you're asking the right questions. And then ultimately, you can co-create your offers with your fans. So asking them, out of all these different things that I'm thinking about creating, which are you most excited about? Which would you be most likely to purchase if it was already available? And they'll tell you. And another benefit of having these types of conversations is that it's one of the best mediums through which you can move people through the fan journey. If you're doing a good job of tracking where someone at in their fan journey, then you can know, okay, if this person's a listener, then the next call to action is for them to subscribe to my street team. And if they're in my street team, but they haven't attended my artist showcase, then the next call to action is going to be for them to become an attendee. And if they've attended my artist showcase, then the next step for them to take is to get one of my NFTs or get one of my offers, become a low ticket patron. And if someone is a fan that's currently subscribed in your circle, then the next step for them is going to be to become a core fan and get one of your higher ticket offers. So now let's actually dig into the questions that I would recommend asking during your InTune survey. So to start out with, I'll give you an overview of the 4 different types of questions, and then I'll dig deeper into specific examples. So the spark question, the idea here is that you want to ask some question that's created a hook so that they really want to engage. So if you watch a TV show and at the end of the episode, they have a cliffhanger and there's something inside of you that pulls you towards completion. So I think one of the best spark questions you can ask is, can I ask for advice on something? If you ask someone this, it spurs some curiosity. What are they asking for my advice for? And it opens up the conversation in a nice way. And so in this example, you can imagine that you're having this conversation after someone's joined your street team, right? So we walked through the funnel in an earlier video, and we walked through how you want to build a relationship with them and invite them into your street team, and they can get a free gift in exchange for joining your community. And now that you have their email address or the phone number, it opens up the ability to have conversations like this using the Street Team CRM. And again, just a quick example. So the place to be able to have these conversations in your Street Team platform is if you click on Conversations, they can actually have two-way SMS conversations with your fans. So the spark question I would ask is something along the lines of, can I ask for your advice on something? And then they say, sure, what's up? I say, awesome. So the reason that I'm reaching out is because I'm working on taking my music career to the next level. And my goal is I'd like to go on tour with artist name. And if you know that they came from a specific artist that they're a fan of, then it could be helpful to start with that. This is just one angle you can take. But if you know that they're a fan of the Beatles, and now this would be a great example for obvious reasons, but if you said, my goal is to go on tour with the Beatles, and since you're a fan, I thought that it'd be smart to have conversations and build a relationship with people like you, then that makes it relevant to them, and it gives you a good reason for kind of initiating this conversation, and it's honest. And so then you say, how long have you been listening to the Beatles for? So a simple grease the wheel type of question, that's going to be an easy thing for someone to answer. Have you ever seen them play live? Do you go to a lot of shows in general? Where are you from? And if you're having these conversations in the Street Team Conversations tab, then when someone responds and they say, I'm from New York City, then you can actually import that into their contact field. So now that when you're planning on sending an email or a text message to all your friends in New York City, you can actually send out a message to everyone and you can include this person in that broadcast. You say, what's one of your favorite artists you've been listening to lately? What hooks you on a new song and an artist? Another thing is that this helps you get a better finger on the pulse of how dedicated of a fan that this is. So if someone is responding and they're having paragraph-long responses and they're obviously a super fan, that's someone that you can know is a higher quality fan and someone that is worth building a deeper relationship with because they're someone that gets a lot of value from your music and someone who's likely to be more supportive. And then you want to move into the offer questions. So I would recommend saying something along the lines of, I've been working on a few different things that I can offer my fans. And if this was already available, which of the following would you be most interested in? And from there, you probably want to share a few different options of things that you're working on. So we had the video earlier on in the series where we walked through your value ladder and some different ideas for things you can brainstorm. And I would highly recommend, even before you've created it, you want to bring in your new fans into this process so you can actually start to have these conversations and you can get a feel for what are people actually interested in. And you can also mention that you're thinking about doing some of these higher end diamond offers and you replace diamond offers with the actual name of whatever the offer is, whether it's a custom song or private parties or wedding gigs. But I would highly recommend asking if that's something that they'd be potentially interested in. And then based on the conversation and based on how the offer questions went, then you can have a few different options for where you go with the final call to action at the end of the conversation. So if it's someone who made it very clear that they're not looking to support you or invest, or they say, oh, I'm broke or something like that, then you probably don't want to make an offer for either low ticket or high ticket. But if it's someone who's super supportive and expressed a lot of interest, either in the lower ticket offers or in a higher ticket offer, then I would recommend catering this specific call to action based on the conversation. If they said they were interested in one of your lower ticket offers, you could say something like, hey, so thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. By the way, since you said that you were interested in XYZ, if you still want one, I'm happy to hook you up with a discount. We have these two different options. Which one are you most interested in? And this is a really powerful way to phrase this question. There's a lot of psychology that kind of goes into how you ask these questions and what kind of response you get. So if you're on your heels and you say, I have this thing that I'm selling and it would really support me a lot and I'd really appreciate it if you bought this thing for me. Do you want one or no? Then it's very likely that even if they were interested in one and they would buy one, you'd have a much lower conversion rate on people who actually take you up on that. Versus you can phrase it, would you prefer option A or option B? And that just focuses the conversation in the right way. So now they're just asking themselves, okay, which option do I want? So that's just a little piece of advice when it comes to positioning your offers and assuming that they want it because it's awesome. And if they said they were interested in it, then it's fair to assume that it's something that it's at least worth offering it and asking them. And then if it's someone who said that they were interested in one of these higher ticket offers, then I would highly recommend following up with them and saying, if we find a time that works for both of us, would you be open to hopping on a quick Zoom call sometime in the next couple of weeks so that we can actually have a conversation and make some plans on when we want to do this? And from there, you can say, awesome, can you choose the best time for you here? And I would recommend grabbing a booking link so that you can just share a link with them. They can click it, they can book a time, and you can have it feed into your automated reminders. And this is all something that you can set up as well on the Street Team platform, where you can actually have a calendar, you can have people book appointments, you can set up your availability, and it's pretty dang cool. All right, so that's a quick walkthrough of the InTune survey process. I hope it's been valuable for you. Again, I am COVID positive right now, so I'm feeling not super hot, but I came too far along in this challenge to give up now, so I wanted to make sure that I kept the streak going. But if you could do me a favor, if you got value from this, if you can smash the like button, that lets YouTube know that this has been valuable for you and it improves the algorithm. And if you have any questions, feel free to click on the link in the description and you can submit a question and then come on here live on the Zoom call. And until next time. Yeah!